The Wave Weaver. What you need to know about these guys before choosing your mage in Camelot Unchained. Let's go. What's up, everyone? This is my third video in my three-part mini-series regarding the mage classes in Camelot Unchained. I am your host, Swiper, and today I would like to talk to you about the last mage class, the Wave Weaver! Just like the other two videos I did, my goal for this video is to give you a better understanding of how this class will work. If you're interested in the other two mage classes, check out these videos here. Alright, so let's continue with the Wave Weaver. This is the mage class in the Viking realm. Ah yes, the Vikings. My personal favorite. This class utilizes water to defend their realm. Their weapon of choice is the gauntlet. They also have access to some frost and wind damage as well. This class will succeed in damage and also controlling enemies with their spell effects. So I have to imagine this class won't be as strong as the Flameborn when it comes to damage output, but I think the slowing effects will make up for it. Alright, it's time now to break down this class and their abilities, starting with the Boons. Like all other classes, we see a list of the 5 boons. Of course, there's going to be more, but this is just for the presentation. So you're going to have these options and others. So let's quickly go over these. So the first option is you can increase your damage over time, which will reduce the blood resource costs over time as well. You can deal high disruption. You can deal reduced damage, but also restore a small amount of health to yourself. You can lower the target's frost resistance. And this one it's kind of crazy, and I might be getting this wrong, but it looks like if you choose this boon, you no longer have to freeze the target to gain the effects of like the freezing. So I think some of their spells, you'll see that it gives a bonus to any target that's frozen. If you choose this, I think you automatically get that effect. So that sounds pretty freaking awesome. And as long as I'm getting that right, I hope so. And if I'm not, please hit me up in the comments and tell me, yo man, you got this wrong. All right, let's move on to the Banes. Here are some of your options. So, your projectile abilities have their blood resource cost increased and you deal reduced damage. Incoming void damage is greatly increased. Your movement speed is reduced by a small amount plus an additional amount while casting magic abilities. Incoming damage while casting magic abilities is increased, and your magic abilities do a small amount of damage to you when you cast them. Oh god, this is going to be tough. A lot of these Banes are extremely detrimental, especially the movement speed reduction. One thing I hate is feeling like an anchor in MMO, so we'll see what I pick. Alright, let's go over some of the rune options you have. So starting with number 1. So you can choke out your target with water damage, essentially leaving a damage over time on them, and I don't believe this applies any kind of CC effect or anything like that. You can deal crushing damage and frost damage if the target has a moist effect on them. You can deal high water damage and apply the moist effect on your target. You can do wind damage that deals frost damage to the target, and if the target has a moist effect on them, it will apply the freeze, reducing their speed. And last, you can deal low base frost damage that shatters any targets affected by freeze. So overall, these runes really start to show where this class can excel. It looks like you can add a lot of spell effects to targets rather than just flat out damage. Alright, moving on to the shapes. So most of these are pretty similar to the other mage classes, but the last two are different. So let's go over them. You can select a fast moving projectile with low tracking. You can select 2 different ball spells that are large, which move slow and have high tracking. You have 3 different types of AoE. You have a melee AoE, you have a cone effect that is in melee range essentially, and you have a targeted AoE that you target the enemy with. You can also select my favorite, the beam. You can select a wave type effect that literally looks like a wave, so this is one of the different ones compared to the other mages. In the last one, you can create a trap effect that only your allies can see. Now this could be fun when you're defending a keep or when you're in a one-on-one situation, because when you put it down, nobody can see it other than your allies, so you'll know exactly where it is and they will not, which is pretty freaking awesome. Okay, moving on to the optional items, the focus and the infusion. So there's a lot to cover here. So I'll briefly go over these, starting with the focus. So summary options are increasing frost abilities, which in turn will reduce blood resource of all your water spells. You can increase the duration of all magic effects. So I have to assume this takes into play like when you slow people or you put dots on them. You can reduce the prep and recovery times of all frost magic abilities and increase their stability. You can reduce the blood cost of all magic abilities and add disruption to frost abilities. And last, you can increase the damage of frost and your water abilities. Alright, last but not certainly least, the infusions. So let's take a look. So let's say you want to add a knockback to one of your abilities. You can do that. Let's say you want to increase the duration of some of your spell effects. You can also do that. If you want to increase the tracking in a projectile to make your spell go further, you could do that as well. You can decrease the cooldown of your spells, you can reduce the blood cost of your spells, and you can also reduce all targets' movement speed that are nearby while you're casting a spell. So overall, there are some really cool effects you can do with your abilities, and I'm sure we'll see more in the near future. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to build a spell, my favorite part of these videos. So I'm going to apologize up front. I have no idea how to say these Bane or Boons or like any of them. So you can just kind of laugh at me while I try to pronounce these, but hey, it's all good, right? So anyway, the boon I want to work with is called Yours Favor. I don't know, man. If you know how to say it, just put in the comments, please, because I sound like an idiot right now. But anyhow, I think this is the boon that actually gives you the benefit of if a target were to be frozen. And I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but this is the effect I would take is as if this, if this spell works the way it does. So let's move on to the Bane. So all the Banes kind of suck, but this one didn't seem too bad. Incoming void damage is greatly increased. So I figure it's one type of spell magic, so it can't be too bad, right? Okay, so for the rune, I chose Kolgar's Chill. A gust of icy wind deals frost damage to the target, and if the moist effect is present, it also applies a freeze, reducing their movement speed. So, what I'm thinking here is you use this, you get the frost effect automatically, so therefore you wouldn't technically need to put the moist effect on them, maybe? I don't know, I might be stretching it now, but we'll see, right? So the shape that I took was the ability to essentially, use on a single target. So essentially I want to level this ability up, get these components up, and make something else, greater than this one. So that's why I chose the ball. And the gauntlet, I chose the disrupting effect for this option. So for this mage, it's not all about damage. It's more about being a pain in the ass, disrupting them, slowing them, just doing as much as I can to annoy the heck out of them. And the infusion that I would take would be to use the extended projectile tracking duration. This way, my spell can go a little bit further and I can be a little bit more annoying from further away. All right, that is going to wrap it up for me today. One additional tidbit that I forgot to let everybody know, the Wave Weaver and the Winter Shadow are going to be excellent partners in this game. They both have access to frost damage, so their synergy will work really well together. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you liked this video, please hit that thumbs up. And if you found it helpful, please leave a comment below. And if you would like weekly updates, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I try and get a news video out each week on Monday. So if you're interested in keeping up with the news, I do a little summary, about 10 minutes, that goes over their hour-long presentation that they do on Fridays. But anyway, thank you again for listening, and I'll talk to y'all next week.